Hey, YouTube, petey twofinger, station ID checking in with a channel announcement. Yesterday I uploaded 23 videos to this channel. It's all old stuff. So I wanted to explain because someone asked me, is this you? It just says home recording. I didn't go through those videos and put a thorough description because there was 23 of them. So yes, all of that music that went up, all 23 of those videos are old recordings that I made with the family band, which was called Shrimpy and the Peas. Shrimpy was our daughter's nickname. When she was 4, I had gotten a cabinet, a PA cabinet, a Yamaha. It was a 200 watt amp in it with a 15-inch tweeter woofer and a big giant horn. It's huge. This thing was like the size of a dishwasher. And it had a broken switch and the fuse panel was messed up. So I replaced the switch and replaced the fuse panel and just cleaned it up and it worked. And I said my mind was rolling through, and then I figured out quickly what we could do, which was use a 4-track recorder as a mixer and run a computer or a sequencer into my guitar synth, which had a drum machine on it, and hook up a couple of mics, hook those up to the 4-track, and then go in with this guitar synthesizer that had the drum module in it. So then someone could just hit play on the keyboard of this old DOS machine, and it would do a 4 count, and we would have drums and vocals coming out of that PA. It's a nice PA. And then of course I had bass guitar amplifiers and electric guitar amplifiers. So I figured we put Donna on bass. We could have our daughter sing, because my daughter was really into pretending that she was a singer. She always had a fake pipe-a-phone, she called it, and she was always putting on little shows. So I thought we could do like Rock and Roll, Ring Around the Rosie, Looby Loo, all these kid songs, Teapot, stuff that she already knew, but we would do them with a big muff, like turn on the distortion pedal and play it more rocked out music, and then have the kid performing the stuff. And it wouldn't be a big deal for her because she already knew most of these lyrics, and she was really into that type of thing, putting on stretch pants and sunglasses and pretending she was a rock star. It was part of what she did. That was part of her play. So I said to my wife when I got this cabinet working, I said, "You're going to be mad at me." And she said, "What?" And I didn't even want to tell her the idea. I said, "You're really going to be mad. This is how I got her to..." There was no option. I just told her, like, we're going to have a band. You're going to play bass. So I quickly taught her, gave her some bass lessons. We invited the whole family over. A week later, we did a set of, I don't know, maybe 6 to 10 songs in there. And we had, the equipment had a blanket over. I did a spray paint Shrimpy and the Peas thing, pulling that up on the wall, and I had a carpet over all of that. And we had all the relatives over. My mother-in-law told me she thought I had a motorcycle under the carpet. Like, I bought myself a hog. And I had invited everyone over and hid it behind and then the grand reveal. The grand reveal was we pulled the equipment down, fired everything up while they all sat there. We didn't say a word what was going on. And then we started playing, and Shrimpy comes running out with a communion dress on and a tiara, sunglasses with a fur animal fur thing around her neck, and throws the sunglasses off and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show." And so we did that, and they all kind of loved it. The family all clapped, and you couldn't really understand our daughter well. She had a heavy speech impediment. She couldn't say any of her R's or her L's, so she had like baby talk thing going on. And it went over good. Went over really good. So we continued to do that. We started with some Pink Floyd, and we did Alice Cooper's song "School's Out for the Summer." We did a Frank Zappa song, Make the Water Turn Black. We did some Beatles songs. We every year just about we would have a new set of music. On my 30th birthday party, I know we played on the patio. I think we did that a couple of times. I'm not sure. We didn't really play. We played more just for ourselves, or just have small groups of friends and family over, meaning 3 to 5 people sitting on a couch watching us perform our short set. And it was always MIDI drums, with my daughter singing vocals. We had mics, but we didn't really. I did a little bit in the beginning when she was coming up, when she was in that first, at Mach 1, I call it. I sang a lot more. And that's all changed around. I kind of stopped singing. And we were doing longer sets and longer songs. We would open up with In the Flesh by Pink Floyd. She burnt a Barbie doll in Helter Skelter. So it was it was my way of sharing the love of what I did before I got married, was playing in bar bands. And then I did that for the first year I was married, and I just didn't feel right about it because I was out all the time, and we had this little family, and I wasn't feeling the band either. I really wasn't. It was a lot of work, and it seemed to me that the other people that I was working with, they weren't really, their heart wasn't in it as much as it was for me. Where for me, like, if I don't make music, I'm kind of miserable. Where they could kind of take it or leave it. And that resulted in it being more difficult for me because I did take it seriously. And I wanted stuff like less time in between songs when we practiced, meaning if we finish a song, it shouldn't be an hour of drinking beer, smoking cigarettes, and marijuana or whatever it was for an hour. So yeah, quitting the band was the first step on the fast track to making better art for me, and I don't regret it. The only thing that kind of sucks about Trimpy and the Peas was and is that we don't have an analog drummer. We don't have a drum kit. And so you hear that. You hear the MIDI drums, they just sound awful. The new drum machine we have is not as bad, but it's not a live drummer. So we were never really considered like a real band, because if you had a drummer, we were a rock band, but this is more looked upon as pretend. But at the same time, it's fine with me because we were never serious. This wasn't trying to turn my daughter into a cash cow and be the next Britney Spears or America's Got Talent. As I always say the same thing, this was what we did as a family instead of sit on the couch and watch network television, which would have been Fear Factor at the time. So it wasn't a competitive, real band. We were doing silly covers. We were changing. She loved to drive in her Barbie car instead of Jaguar. We would kind of change the words. And as time went on, she and my wife both felt they did not want to continue to perform in front of an audience. It was just awkward. And we would work for months on it, and then some of my relatives would stand next to the cameras and talk louder than it would ruin our footage. The entire set. They would not pay attention. And that really, really, really stuck with me. The last time we played in front, I wrote out an announcement. And my wife said, if you're going to talk really loudly and try to compete with our amplifier, because they were shouting. And everything they were smack talking us and mocking us. And that's all on all of the tapes. Most of the tapes that I have are ruined because my family members are making fun of us on the tapes. So we made an announcement on the last one, which was, if you're gonna shit talk us, don't stand by the cameras, or better yet, just go home. We're here to do this because we've worked really hard and put on a show for you guys to enjoy. If you don't enjoy it, don't stand next to the camera and ridicule us. And as I went along, we were attacked on the internet for doing this. So it was always a really bad idea. It was the best thing I could have done for my family, I feel, because it didn't put me in a separate place of being something, this elitist dad that had this magical power to make music. I made the music with my family, and it was a sacrifice. I was making doing Barney covers, heavy metal, Mother Goose, hard rock Barney, Then later on, we developed more and more of the music that I liked. We were doing Pink Floyd covers and stuff, Beatles covers, and then that led into when she was 13. I'm getting completely off case with this. When she was 5, we started out 2 weeks after her 4th birthday. We started. It was the first time we played. Within a week or a couple of weeks after that, we did our first show, and it was good. It was good. We did a couple more big shows. We did this 30th birthday bash. I remember the cops showed up and left, didn't hassle us. We had neighbors coming. They were giving her $20 bills, my daughter. So it wasn't all negativity. I had relied on a friend to record the first performance, and he didn't record it right. He also was, I had a mic that always fed back. He was supposed to bring a mic, and he was 4 hours late. So my daughter's cousins never got to see us perform, see my daughter sing. So there's a lot of this stuff around it where I relied on other people or expected other people to accept what we did, and that just wasn't the case. We really got ridiculed. I got attacked severely online to the point where I had a troll guy follow me for years, threatening to rape my kid with knives and murder and all. It ended up being a really horrible thing for me. We continued to make music. Like I said, when she turned 5, we recorded all the material on our first CD. And that, I have that. There's some of those songs that are uploaded to this latest batch of music. And then when she was 13, I think at that point it was our 5th set of songs. And that was a lot of Faith No More, Phantomus, Mr. Bungle. There's 30 songs. And it was a little bit more challenging music for us, but she was older. And we sang a little bit more. My wife sang harmony on that. And so that was 3.5 years of that. We had taken time off because my wife had another child. That's what happened. And then when the second child, Dahlia, I have 2 daughters. When Dahlia was 3.5, we put the band back together again. That was Mach 5. Okay? As far as, and the Machs represent whole new, fresh sets of music with maybe 1 or 2 songs left over that carried through. So, Mach 5 is wrapped up after 3.5 years of playing those 30 songs, really getting them down after about a year. When we would get a new set of songs, we would practice those songs every day, all throughout the week, and then as time went on, it would slow down once we got them, and it would end up being just a weekly thing. Once a week we would play. So Mach 5 was a lot of Faith No More, Pink Floyd, Stuff Off the Wall. We did a cover of The Final Cut, Pigs on the Wing, and we had 3 fog machines, 2 large professional DJ lights that were sound activated, and then lasers. And she had a setup with, I don't know, I think it was 27 switches where she would, and foot switches where she would operate this light show. So there was disco balls with the laser bouncing off of them, pro DJ lights that were sound activated, and that light show was choreographed with the music, with 3 fog machines. We had to unplug the the smoke alarm. Now we got, after a year or 2, we got tight with that material, playing to these MIDI files that I had edited that were tight. So you're playing it, it's identical every day. And then I started working on my lead playing, and that really helped me. But if you listen to it, it's a completely different style than what I'm playing now. I was playing a lot of tapping and really fast stuff back then. We're not all over the place. Now I'm much more reserved on how I play. In any event, Mach 5 was really a musical highlight. We recorded all of that. It was so much fun doing that. It was a challenge, but like I said, we got good at it, and the vocal stuff. If you listen to that album, there's some really good material on there. I'm pretty proud of it, and we had a lot of fun with it. But again, at what cost? Both of our families ignored it, and I'm always like, on the one side of the family, they are openly vocal about mocking us while we play. The other side of the family, they're just old world, and they don't even want to talk about it. But I really, really wanted to do a show for both of them. Like, we're part of your family. This is the daughter of it's a super tight family. They get together constantly for these parties, and we never really talked about the band because my wife and daughter were embarrassed, and they thought that their family would not appreciate it because they're so old world, and that would offend me even. We're making the situation even worse, and they're probably right. So we did that for 3.5 years till we couldn't take it anymore, playing those songs so many times. Took 44 days to record all 30 of those songs. One of them had almost 80 tracks on it. It's a good double album. It's 30 songs of covers, and I'm really proud of that work in that period of time. Mach 5 was incredible. So we put the band to rest. Time went on. My youngest daughter, Dahlia, began to blossom into a music person. I got her a guitar. We started again playing instrumental, put the microphones away, no singing, and we wrote everything. There are a couple of covers. Our warm-up song is Peter Gunn. We do Rumble, and we do, just now, between my wife and I, we do a cover of a song called Rocket Ship by the Flying Underground, and then, which is like a little band out of Cincinnati, and Brian Lovely. Anyway, and I think there's one more cover in there. But, yeah, instrumental, no singing, and really no covers. Or if you do them, they're subtle, because we have around 100 songs now. I would have to look at it. The last time I checked, there was like 85, and we've written quite a bit more. So I would guess maybe it's even closer to 110 now. So through that period of time, 3 or 4 years now, we've been doing that set. There isn't really any crazy lighting, but how we do it is a headphone system with line in. I have a pedal board going. My guitar goes to a computer that runs amplitude or bias effects, and then it goes to some compressor gate with a direct boxes to the board. It's a digital Fostex board that has a memory, built-in effects. We use rack processing, and then there's a couple Alesis microverb or whatever, an old Digitech delay, and then headphone amp. We got 8 channels stereo compression, 16 channels of compression and gate, and then Alesis SR18 drum machine, and with foot switches, and my wife operates that. My youngest daughter plays the guitar, and we made her a Rocky clone, George Harrison Rocky. She's got a bunch of guitars. She runs a Boss GT6, and my other daughter plays a Yamaha circa 90s, like I think late 90s, kind of a it's a synth. It's more of like a disco synth, or like it has a lot of dance or techno. It's like a techno synth. She plays keyboards on that. And we have a room mic that we turn on so we can communicate, because there's headphones. It's hard to hear, but really there's no singing going on. So again, we were playing once a week. Then my older daughter got married. My younger daughter doesn't live at home anymore. They're all grown up. My older daughter bought a house. She's got her own thing going on. So I still see them. We're on good terms. They come. I jam with them about 6 times a year. Like, Father's Day. We try to do a couple at least 3 or 4 outdoor jam sessions where they come early. We pack everything up in the cars and set it up, because that's the other thing. I built these battery amps. That's a big part of my channel. Class D battery amps with sealed lead acid batteries. So that's the whole story of Shrimpy and the Peas, which it's kind of defunct now. Shrimpy and the Peas for Parents. That was when it was just my one girl, Shrimpy, as the vocalist. And she did some keyboard work too, but it's turned into this band that doesn't have a name. We call it the Family Band. It's LDLD, which are the first letters of our name. If it had to have a name, it would be LDLD. But we don't have a name, and we don't really play covers. If we do play covers, they tend to be instrumental. I mean, I think there's one, that rocket ship song, but that's not even, just me and my wife are playing that. So yeah, basically the kids aren't really coming around anymore. My wife and I have been writing. My kids wrote too. They were writing. I would challenge them and say, okay, today you pair up with her and give me 3 songs. You pair up with her, give me 3 songs. Out of that 100 songs, it's not just me that's writing them, although the majority of them are mine. But for morale, I tried to encourage them to write, but they didn't really want to do it. And what I found was the stuff they wrote was way different than anything I would ever consider. Especially my wife's stuff is incredible. I love playing all of that stuff that they wrote, and I wish I could encourage them to do more. So I found a secret to keeping the band going and healthy and happy is more material. You can't go crazy and stress everyone out with too much, but to keep adding songs from time to time really keeps it fun where you want to do it and look forward to doing it. Because again, this has always been like my idea, and I'm the dad, so I'm enforcing it like we're going to have this band. It's not necessarily their choice. So it's brought up some challenges, and although I say it like that and that's how it could be perceived, they enjoy doing it. It's part of their self-esteem. It's part of who we are. We've done it for over 20 some years now, 22, 23 years it's been going on. And what brought up this last recent thing of me putting up a bunch of videos was a few people made comments about us singing. I did a Syd Barrett cover, and people were hearing the vocal in it, and it bothered them, like, hey, you need to be singing this. So I was like, I need to start doing something that we did for 20 years and don't do anymore. So I grabbed a bunch of those videos and threw them up. As I had just there's another channel, Shrimpy and the Peas. It's got a lot of that stuff on there. There's more, but I wanted to upload this stuff. We did a documentary type thing, like a Spinal Tappy type thing, where it's her when she's like 5 and she's got that speech impediment. It's called The Story of Shrimpy and the Peas. And it's maybe like 5 to 8 minutes long, and there's a live performance at the end of it. So I'm going to upload that. That's the story of Shrimpy and the Peas, which, I mean, this has led from, when I talk about the different Mach 1, Mach 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, they're completely different bands. There's even different, like, people have different roles in them. With Mach 6, went from the girl that was singing, that was fronting it, like the reason we did it, she turned into be like one of the most passive members of the band, as it's more of a guitar band now. And it was more, the emphasis was put on our younger daughter, Dahlia, who was just too young to participate, where if you see the video, she's often in diapers, dancing around and hamming it up on the side of the camera while we're getting down. So to bring her in was really important for me, and to see her blossom as a musician, because she picks stuff up really fast. And then Shrimpy did incredible on the keyboard as far as learning how to do it and doing well with it, and like taking notes and just having her stuff together and being professional about it. So this band is the most professional band I've ever been in my life, by far. And that's simply because it isn't a bunch of dudes. It's because it's that are wasted, that are getting high, that are there for other reasons. We're all under one roof, and we're able to get together and rehearse more, and we don't take any time in between the songs. So it's been a night and day experience. This is by far the best band I've ever played in. By far. There is no comparison. Now, I've been in some large number, a huge group of people rock band. Yeah, it had a much fuller sound. All of those other bands had a real drummer, so it immediately sounds 100 times better than having a drum machine, which ruins all this music. Everything I've done sounds awful with the Family Band because of the MIDI and the drum machine. That's all I hear. So there's that huge thing up against it. And then the fact that it's a family band and we're not like They're not really musicians. We're just kind of doing this for fun. But see, I don't care about that because I'm just doing this so I can, so because it's better than playing the guitar alone. You know, it's not, I'm not trying to compete with Led Zeppelin. We're not covering stuff. And that's the common, like, what I see is 99% of the people that are out there are like living this fantasy world where they're covering people's music that's impossible to duplicate it. You sound terrible. All you cover bands, you sound awful. Even the ones that you name yourself, one of the song names of the band, even you guys suck. Okay? So for me, writing my own simple, basic rock instrumental pieces has been infinitely more rewarding, and it sounds better because there's nothing else to compare it to that's similar but way better. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not saying I'm like some genius. You know, it's the opposite. I only have two fingers because of my lawnmower accident to play the guitar. My wife uses one finger to fret her bass. So it's, call it the triple trouble duo. It's, you know, because after the kids left, my wife and I have continued to make and write music. We go out. We've been out twice already this year. We bring Class D amps that I built to the woods, and that's video you'll see with the drum machine and play in the woods. And the reason we do that is because sitting with the headphones on inside is great, but when you go and do a day outside where you bring picnic food and you set the stuff up, I get this huge smile. We fire it up and we're pushing air with the speakers, and it's just a whole different experience. And I really love doing that. I look forward to those days. That's kind of what keeps me going, is having something to look forward to that's for me. Because I've injured my back, I'm unable to work, I'm in a lot of pain. So this is kind of how I've continued my childhood and been able to grow as a musician and bond with my family. It's a very healthy thing. And it's been a lot of work. There's been a lot of ups and downs. There's been a lot of growing pains. People have not always been in the mood to do it. There's been drama. There's just like in a real band, but worse because it's a family. But we're still doing it. We love to do it. We are what we are. It's simple, basic rock music. It's not a professional band of talented people. This is amateur night to the max. But it's so much rewarding, and to me it sounds so much better than the other bands I was in. And that's just personal bias. So I'm going to be uploading another song from Mach 1, or it might be Mach 2. Yeah, Mach 2 song called Rock and Roll Ring Around the Rosie. And I'm going to be uploading the documentary, The Story of Shrimpy and the Peas. And that's pretty much why I uploaded 23 videos yesterday and what that's all about. Forgive me for taking so much of your time discussing this topic, but it's basically been my life as a married father. That's what I've done. You know, I mean, there was 11 years in there with the boat. There was a lot of time off, a lot of time, years where we didn't play, and I was miserable. There was always something that was like riding in the back of my mind, like, you need to be doing something real. You're wasting your life. And then when I have this, I don't get that feeling. I've always got something brewing in the back of my head relating to this to keep me going and accomplish those goals. And like earlier this year in January, I recorded a solo album by myself called Minor Technical Difficulties, and really didn't get much response on it. And again, like, I did this series called Acid Casualties, which I got the most response on anything in my life. I had a real lot of people compliment me. And then it's like, but, my own music, nobody really cares. People don't really acknowledge it. And it's a big deal to me because I'm handicapped. I only play with two fingers, that I can do this. And you might not be able to tell right away that I'm, cheating, and I only have half. So that's kind of a sore spot for me, where it alienates me away from the rest of society, where I need to get to a place where I really don't care what people think, but I have the second child syndrome, so I need that pat on the back. I need to be told what I did is good, which really sucks. And I'm really trying to work to get away from that, you know. Doing this thing with having my daughter sing, it wasn't using her as a shield because we really didn't push that. Like I said, I was trying to get my family to accept the fact that I like to play guitar, because they still don't. They still don't. And that's like 99% of what's going on up here for ever since I was a kid has been music and guitar related. And to, like, you feel like this is who I really am. I'm this person that loves this stuff, and I can't escape it. And it's just in my DNA. It's every part of me relates to this. And then have other people want to talk to me about a job that I'm like a warehouse guy. And when I'm at the Christmas party, that's what they want to talk to me about. You know, and if I was making money doing this, people would see it as it's good. But it's worse than that. Not only am I not making money on it, I get no real positive feedback. I mean, I shouldn't say that, because you guys have been great to me. I'm talking about in real life. So, check out that album. It's called Minor Technical Difficulties. That's what I'm really proud of. When I play by myself, I can kind of cut the shackles of the family band, and it's just me. And there are no restrictions, because I do have to kind of play it down a little bit when I'm playing with the family band, because they are simply not on the level of musicianship that I'm at. They've come a long way, and I want to get them to where they will stop saying that all the time, because when I push them, that's what they'll say. Well, we're not musicians. We didn't ask to do this. So it's not without its issues and its psychological little bumps. And I see it as a very healthy, good thing, despite all that. And of course there's going to be any kind of relationship like this. What band lasts as long as we did? There aren't many. So, thank you for your curiosity, and I appreciate your continued support. The plan is for the rest of the summer, outdoor jams with my old lady, outdoor jams with the family band. We got a bunch of new material, writing new material. I'm hoping to obtain a Roland VG88 at some point in the near future and record another album. My best friend, my cat Augustus, passed away in the last week when I was recording that album. So it kind of tainted it for me. So I'm going to do another one. Hopefully this next winter. So that'll be out next spring. But that's the plan, is make more videos of this family band over the summer, performing live at the Woods, and then edit those and upload those for you guys, and keep going with this other stuff on the channel. So you got plenty of time to catch up on the 23 videos I uploaded yesterday. None of them are more than 3 to 5 minutes long, so enjoy. And that's what that was all about. My life. Peace.